Today I'm going to be making a small blacksmithing forge. Don't really need one, just want to dabble in it, see if I can make a few tools for the farm. It's going to be small, just a learning process, and I didn't want to put a lot of money or time into this project. So I went online, checked out some of the books I have to see what is the quickest and easiest way to build a forge. And what I saw, the simplest method looked to be a wooden box filled with mud with a depression in it for the fire. Started to go that route, and then I said to myself, why don't I dispense with a wooden box and just see if I can make it out of mud? So today we're playing in the mud. We're going to build a mud forge around. I'm using as a mold this little plastic container from the grocery store, disposable plastic container, about 9 by 6 inches. But the key part is it's about 4 inches deep, 3.5, 4 inches. So it'll make a good fire pot for the small forge. I'm going to use this 12 by 3/4 inch piece of pipe as my air intake. It came from you can get one in any home improvement store. I had to soak it for 3 days in vinegar to take the finish off, because that's really not good to breathe the fumes from burning the galvanized material on the outside of this. So it's rusty, that's fine with me, but I just wanted to make sure that I got the galvanized coating off. So start with building a base. So get some handfuls of mud. If it's too wet, you'll have trouble with it holding together. If it's too dry, it'll be too crumbly to mold. So I believe I have this about the right consistency. You need it to be about 1 inch thick for the floor, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches won't hurt. It's kind of fun playing in the mud. Remember, mud is the original 3D printer. Alright, let's see how I'm doing space-wise here. It's a little bit, I think it'll do. So now, what I want to do is just build up around the edge. Just a nice wall all the way around. Of course, I'm going to let this dry. When I put the pipe in, which I won't do until after it's completely dried, I'm just going to be using a standard fireplace bellows. I want this to be mobile, so I won't necessarily be depending on electricity, so I'm not using the hair dryer method or the vacuum cleaner method. Maybe a little more work, and of course you're free to use a hair dryer if you want to. There's your air supply. This is just as much fun as it was when I was 6. Now, I could make this look a little better, kind of smooth it outside, but I'm purely interested in just the functionality. You can do what you want to as far as making it look a little more finished. And because I have got the the mud fairly wet, it's going to take a little bit of art here to make it hold up. The wider you make the base, the easier it's going to be to build up. Okay, to back up a little. Alright, now let's hope that we can do this without the frame collapsing. But my goal here is to basically have the pipe come in at the very bottom of where the container is. So I just take my pipe here, kind of eyeball it, push it in until it hits the container, then pull it out. Alright, clean that a little bit with my finger. You can do a little more when it's partially hardened. But that's going to be the air intake for the, need a little bit more mud. Here. This hole right here is going to be the air intake, and that's all there is to it. Let it dry out, and then we'll fire it up and see what we got. Just wanted to show you what it looks like the next day. It's still too wet to use, but I wanted to show you what it looked like with the pipe inserted, about how far I inserted. It could be a little more, a little less, so we can get the air into the fire. We'll light it up and in a day or two when it's dry and see what happens. Okay, I lit the fire some time ago with the charcoal I made for Project 1. Let it burn down to where it's a lot of ash so you can move the coals around what you want to heat. I have it now. This is just regular pliers, by no means appropriate for blacksmithing. I'm just wanting to see if I can get this metal hot enough to forge. So here's my metal spike. I pull it out. I've had it in there since the fire started, so it would be heating up. But as you tell, it's just not hot enough to forge. There's no color to it. So I'm going to put it down here in the coals. Then stir my coals up, try to mound them as much as I can around the end of the steel that I'm trying to heat. Okay. But ideally you wouldn't want chunks like this. You want it to be mostly not in chunks, but in kind of dust-like form so you can mound it around what you're trying to heat up. I have an ordinary fireplace bellows. Not the best thing to use, but it's what I've got, so let's see if we can heat this up. See if we got any color. Yeah, nice orange. Definitely can do some hammering on that.